approach, in which
Sure.
if we get 5% of a company, then we'll approach the company itself. But we're not necessarily an employee benefit companies offer, and more employees come to us directly or through word of mouth and whatnot. And then it's like, oh,
Sure.
great. Well, we can help you there.
And that was the impression that I got from the website, that you're aimed towards the employee. But of course, like I said, they're once they've upskilled
Yes.
through your company, they'll also. And I'm always thinking about. I'm not a good chess player, by the way, but
It's okay.
I try to think like a chess. I try to think, okay, well, what next? Well, what next? Well, what next?
Yeah.
And once they've upskilled, they need to sell that skill to that current employee,
Yes.
because just like we talk about customer retention, we're talking about employee retention. So I just wonder, maybe eventually, in your product offering, there'll be some how to communicate your value to your, and
Maybe.
it might
Yeah.
already be in there. I wasn't sure, so I just
No, no,
wasn't.
no. It's fine. Maybe it's like for the statistics that we have, we were able to up the percentage of the performance improvement plans by 10%, which is still a pretty low like percentage. It's like pips tend to be what 20%, so we were able to bring it up closer to 30% success rate. But like, yeah, no, like I get what you're talking about, what you're mentioning, and what you're talking about. We're just like go is like these are skills that you can take for life. AI is definitely here to stay, and whether you're doing this so you can increase your productivity at work, or so you can start your own thing, or you like a lot of the companies that we do work with tend to be other AI startups. It's like, yeah, well, we can help you learn how. It's like either white labeled our solutions, or we can help you be better at AI. So then you can take those experiences and then go consult to whatever company you want. So, I mean, we're here for the education part.
The best phrase that I've ever heard, and somebody way smarter than me came up with it, is they said you only own what you can defend.
Yeah.
So when I look at business, and I didn't realize this until recently, I have a very behaviorist approach towards business. I look at evolutionary psychology. I also look at the animal kingdom. When I'm looking at even a complex business problem, I think, well, what do the gorillas do? And I know that sounds oversimplified, but economics is really the study of human behavior. I mean,
Yeah.
physics is not physics is completely removed from the human being, but business, psychology, economics, that's all the study of human behavior. So if I know what a human is how they're going to behave in a certain way, and the
Mm.
reason why I say you only own what you can defend
Yeah.
has to do with the nature of the game and the competition, and the playing field is constantly changing. And we've seen great companies that were multi-generational that at some point stopped evolving, and
Yeah.
they stopped changing with the time, and they're gone. There are companies that had been around a century, and 10 years ago they're gone. And if
Yeah.
you look at how many of the top Fortune 500 companies 20 years ago still exist today, it's a shocking number that are gone. So if they don't upskill, if people don't evolve, if they don't change with the times, they're swept from the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah. No, I 110% agree with that. It's yeah, it's going to be always important. It's like it's a constant evolution. It's constantly working on yourself, constantly learning new skills, and like unless you're working on a tech that's not going to be improving anytime soon, and that's going to be your thing. There's always going to be something new.
And that's why you read books all the time, right?
Yeah,
You want to stay on top, and you want to stay
yeah,
ahead. But people that are, let's be honest, over 50, or maybe over 60, which 60 was old when I was a kid, and now we've got marathoners, doing amazing times at 60. But people at 60, I'll say at 54, because I'll be 55 next year. At 54, I'm less enthused about learning new things. And that really didn't start until about 2 years ago. I was always hungry to learn new things, but particularly technical things. I'm at a stage now where I'm very selective about what I'll take in. And on the channel, I'm very pro outsourcing as well. And I always say, if you don't do it very well, if it's not something you do really, really well, sometimes you need to outsource it, which is great because you, like you said, you offer a white label solution, which for those out there that don't know is you basically prepackaging something and this company that you work with can just put their
Yes.
name on it and distribute it.
So it's like you mentioned the super prompter tool. That's for, so we took the best practices of the larger companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, and like Google, and we combined it with the best practices we discovered over the past few years when it comes to building prompts. So we built this tool because like there's a thing in which people are doing trainings and so on with other companies, and it's like what comes there after, and there's an issue with adoption. So we put together this tool so that people who do said trainings can then like get their skills up a few notches until they can do it themselves, and then they can just take it and run with it, and they can use it for whatever tool they want. It's like, sure, we can do that. And yeah, so there's stuff like that, and it's like there's also the courses that we're doing. It's like we're trying to offer things that other people aren't really doing, like how to put in ads in AI.
Yes, that was the part when I read because you're very active on LinkedIn and so am I. That was the part when you said that I thought I don't know how that works. I didn't know it was possible, and I was like I hope he gives us a short explanation of that, and I think people would
Yeah.
benefit from understanding how that works.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. So in essence, so it's like we know that OpenAI is so wanting to put in ads and it's like is exploring it in different ways. We have Gemini, we have Google that's doing rolling out ads now in their AI search overviews and whatnot. But Google is a collection of iframes, so it's like it's easier for them to do it. And then I don't know what Anthropic is going to be doing in terms of ads in the future, but on they since they're providing the models themselves, there is a limit to how much like um, the models themselves can be changed without degrading the answer. The reason I
Okay.
bring this up is like is jailbreaks, for instance. So it's like when jailbreaking a tool, like if you look at the bug bounties that are available, jailbreaks aren't really covered because there's always going to be another jailbreak, and there's
And get
always going to be a
and
hmm,
give us a little technical background on that for the people that are
on
a
jailbreaks
little in.
themselves.
Yes, yes.
So it's like in terms of using a tool for something that is not designed to be used for.
Okay.
That would
Great
be
explanation.
that would be a jailbreak. And there's always a way to jailbreak, but you can't defend against all of them without then it's ruining the model's output. So from a provider side, they're struggling at finding out the best solution for that. On the creator side or as a company, we don't necessarily face that as issue. We're not on that layer of the onion. We're on the next on the output point. So from there, we can definitely control like what comes out of the model's mouth, so to speak. And then in there, we can like it's easier for us to put in ads than it is for like OpenAI to put in ads themselves.
And that'll be interesting to see. I just posted on LinkedIn, I think yesterday or the day before, about my shock at that announcement that they're going to put in ads. But
Yeah.
I do understand that I do understand now, thanks to you and several other people educating me, that the subscription model alone for OpenAI is not going to cut it. They won't even be anywhere near. It blew me away. I was like, they can't sell subscriptions and be profitable. It's
Honestly, yeah, no, it's like honestly, I was so I feels like looking at stuff is there's different branching paths that can be taken, and I was really hoping for one certain branching path, but it's not quite for another. And the like if they had this they released the GPTs like over a year now, and if they included a creator economy similar to what Google Play or the Apple Store does, then maybe that could have taken the cost. Maybe we wouldn't have reached this point in which they can unlock, in which people can create their own tools and then unlock subscriptions through them, and then they take a portion of the money. Like if they created a platform like that, then I feel like we wouldn't be here talking about ads in platforms.
That's right.
But
No, you're absolutely
yeah,
right. Something
But
that, and I won't go deep into this topic. I just want to put this out there that in the late 90s, early 2000s, I remember that there was this promise of an open source revolution. And I
mhm.
had friends that were using, and I'm gonna draw a blank, but they were using these operating systems that were for Linux,
Linux.
Unix, and Linux,
Yeah.
and all this. And they were a very tiny majority, but they were like, we're gonna take everything's gonna be free. And so I guess because I come from that era. The tool that I use to write my manuscripts is LibreOffice, which is a competitor of
I
MS
use
Office.
open office. I used open office for
Yes.
years. I know what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still try to support, and I always donate every time I do it, once a year, all these free tools that I use, I always give money. I've got different tools where I can pull transcripts off YouTube videos, which is very useful. But yeah, I'd love to still see. I mean, I'm a capitalist. I mean, born and raised in America, so I love capitalism when it's working properly, and I do like the how money incentivizes really people giving their absolute best. So I'm very much into that. But I also like that the open source aspect of it too, directly monetizing the creators like they do on Bandcamp, or
Hmm.
because I'm not an artist, but I always end up working with artists. I had a gallery and a studio, and they're
Nice.
always struggling with monetization. So I feel everybody has a role in life, and one of the things that really excites me when I get an opportunity to do it is trying to help an artistic person monetize their art. I'm obsessed with that because I love what they do. I don't know how. I don't have that part of the brain that does those things, but I love to see artists, musicians do very, very well, and I'll spend a lot of time with them for free so that they can get their art into the
Well,
world.
that's where then tying into what people, the creators can do themselves. They can put in non-invasive ads. It's limited in what they can or cannot do. I know there's a couple companies that are looking at putting in APIs directly for people creating their own AIs, but they don't really touch on like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Gemini as we do. Um, or what we teach, and like what it's so it's limited. You can use it as jailbreak prevention. If someone's trying to use your tool inappropriately, you can say, hey, you can't do this, unlock to the full version here. And it's like, here's a link. You can do it as a sponsor block at the very bottom, and just like, hey, here's like this tool is free because of so and so. And it's like, check us out here. And like you can do stuff like that, and you can track them like with clicks with something called a UTM. Um, and then those things is like if a UTM would be, for instance, if you use ChatGPT as a source, you can see question mark source ChatGPT. That would be a UTM, which tells if through Google Analytics or something that the source of this link comes from ChatGPT. So you can do UTMs like that to track the ad clicks. And so what I've done with friends actually is I set them this up for them so that they can make their own money. They go to like a trade show or something, and it's like, hey, I made this useful tool. They get some down like users and whatnot, and at the end of the trade show, they approach the organizers and say, hey, I got like 300 people that are using my tool almost every day. Would you be interested in advertising to them until next year? And then pay for a
I like
sponsored block
that.
like that.
Yes, yes. No, that sounds fantastic. And I actually had a lady who's an expert in trade shows come on the podcast, and we've remained friends. She's Marie Santarosa, and a great lady. She's in my writers group. She's working on her book on trade shows. And what's funny about that, just as an aside, that when I booked her on the podcast, I thought, I don't know if people are going to really be interested in trade shows because when you think about trade shows, it's not like, oh man, I'm going to get to go to a trade show, unless it's like back home, we're really into fishing. So the boat trade show, people, yeah, they get excited. Believe it or not, her episode was either the second or third most popular of anything I did on my channel. People were
Nice.
so interested in trade. So your idea is brilliant. If somebody's got a product that they already have a specified audience for, yeah, they
Yeah.
can they
They
can
can definitely do this
monetize that.
themselves and monetize it and like sell the sponsored ad slot or do it for themselves. Or if they are looking for a job, they can put together a little, do you like this tool? Hire me. It's like, so it's like this is definitely something that would open up monetization or just in terms of links for people. And it's like, we're not trademarking this. We're just going to leave it open for people. It's like, hey, use it, go, take it, run with it. And it's like, we'll see what happens. It's definitely interesting because the larger companies, they don't have anything in their policies. I don't think. I think it'll be cocky of me to say it's like they. I don't think that they know this is truly possible just yet because we've been doing it for a year now, and then only now as people are saying 2026 or this and it's like stuff like that.
That's amazing. Well, it makes me think too because I've invited Kyle Broccoli on the channel, and he'll be on very soon. Now I realize this is not necessarily your wheelhouse, but I wanted you to riff on it for a second.
Mm,
He has a large language model, I guess, that's basically preloaded into a PC
yeah,
so that people can do testing on site without the results or their privacy or their
yeah.
data going to the
Where's
big
my computer?
companies.
I have the same thing.
Oh, you do? Okay. Because I didn't know anything about it, so
Yeah,
if you can, if
open
you,
source.
because he'll come on and he's gonna, that's his whole purpose is he sells this kind of, I forget what you call it, where it's enclosed and it doesn't communicate to
Yeah,
the
air gapped since like it doesn't
air
talk to the
gapped,
internet
air
and
gapped.
whatnot.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can use like deep. I know there's a whole thing about DeepSeek and people worrying about data being sent to China and whatnot. It's like just cut off the internet connection. It's like there you go. You have the best model is running on your computer, and like yeah, I mean that ties into what you were talking about the open source, in which we're talking about that, which will be interesting if you want to talk about more of the bubble. It's like
Sure, sure. I've watched a lot of videos about that, about the chipsets and buying
yeah,
them and selling them to the same. Do you want to give us a quick, because I'm sure you can explain it way, way
Uh,
better than I can.
I I do have a point of view with that. It's like it's interesting because we've been seeing how much money is being tossed in the U.S. economy towards AI, and like we're talking, there was what was it recently? I think AOC or something. They were talking about how they're not doing like the whole stuff that happened with the airlines with the AI companies, and then I forgot which congressman it was that changed his tune. It's like um if the AI companies like falter, if something happens to them, the U.S. economy is in shambles. So we got a lot of open source tools coming out outside of the U.S. coming into the U.S. and those open source models are just as good. Are like there's one called Quinn or something like that that is just as good as GPT-5. So
Wow,
those
that's
models are
amazing.
good, but they're open source. So it's definitely going to be interesting at the moment that those models become better than the frontier models that we're seeing from Anthropic or
Wow.
Gemini or stuff like that. Then that's going to be a moment of it's like, okay, why are we investing in this?
It's strange because I worked in healthcare many, 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 many years ago, and
Yeah,
people that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, they talk about, and it seems a little sad, but there's a brighter point to this. They talk about each day seeming like a repeat of the day before, like they've seen everything already.
SSDD.
And and
Sorry,
is that what it is? An acronym for the is
same
that
shit,
oh
different day.
same stuff, different day? Yeah.
Same stuff. Sorry.
I'm finally at a point now where it's very hard to fool me because I've seen versions of this before.
Mm,
And I remember in the 90s, probably let's just say the early 90s, where and it was hitting the toy make it the media mostly covered it about the toy makers, but it's true for everything. But I
mm.
remember in the 90s, what was happening is we'd have a toy exposition here,
Yeah.
and the Chinese would, I got to be careful on this channel because you say anything about China and they send their bots, and all that stuff. But anyway, I mean, they do build some really great things. But anyway,
Mm,
what the Chinese would do is they'd send a lot of people to these toy expositions.
mm.
And American toy companies would have up there their prototypes, not the stuff ready for sale yet. They were
Yeah.
just working on designs, and they said by the time the conference was over in 2 or 3 days, China already had a working model because all these people were doing, they were filming at 360, and then somehow the Chinese had a way. This is pre 3D printing, but they
Hmm.
had this high powered CAD where they could replicate that, and they could
Yeah.
bring the same product to market faster than Hasbro or any of the big toy companies. And they were slaughtering. And now no toys are made in the United States, as far as I know, by the way. And this sounds like the AI. This sounds like the AI version of the story.
Yeah, it's interesting because we kind of shot ourselves in our own foot with this. Like there was the limitation on the chips and video chips and stuff like that. So in terms of what's coming out there, it's like, okay, so we're hit with this limitation. Let's improve with what we got. And the stuff that they're improving on is like newer ways to approach tokens and stuff like that, approach language. Then it's like, okay, this is actually much better than what we're doing here. So
How far behind would you say we are in years or terms of?
I can't I can't say that. Well, it's like I'm not. I don't know. It's like again, it's different paths, different branches. The way that
Sure.
we're focusing on things here is different than what's being focused with more limitations. I was like, maybe we needed the limitations in the beginning here. And it's like that is like innovated differently than it's just more money and more infrastructure and more is like stuff like that. It's like, okay, I mean.
You know, so I have a hate relationship with regulation.
Mm,
And one of the biggest problems I have with regulation. Look, I don't want people taking barrels of oil and putting them in the river. I'm not
yeah.
saying we don't need any, we shouldn't have any regulations. I'm not suggesting that. But I will say that as a technology grows, as anything has evolved over time, I see that the fences go up, the obstacles go up, and it locks out the number of small businesses from when I was a kid to now. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, I'm quite sure neither you nor I would do this, but could you imagine opening a retail store in 2025 anywhere in the United States? I mean, you're laughing because it's a crazy idea, which
Yeah.
it wasn't a crazy idea 15 or 20 years ago. That was a path to viable wealth and multi-generate. And now it's like, what? Open a store? Like, are you crazy? Now, why is that? Well, the layers of I would argue that it's the layers of bureaucracy and laws and regulations. You can't do it. So I feel if we put too many breaks and limitations on AI versus countries that don't have that, like China, they do pour oil straight into to the river. And I'm not saying we should do that over here, but again, if we want to be competitive, we need guardrails, but the
We
more we
we
add to it,
definitely need guardrails when it comes to different kinds of creation. So it's like I know deepfakes was an issue before AI came out.
true.
And now it is a lot worse. Um we definitely need pointed guardrails in pointing AI in the proper direction than just free market it completely because like I don't know. We're horizontal tech. We don't build new stuff as much as like we're just teaching people how to use their existing tools,
Mhm.
honestly. But yeah, I mean those are my 2 cents, really.
No, I appreciate the perspective. I've put your website up. It's www.4sh. And can you tell us, because I saw from the website, but can you tell us why you took the I out of fish?
Yeah, so it's for FSH. So we take out the I because like we take out the I and like this is the us out of the solutions we provide. Um, and it's a dad joke. Honestly, what's a fish without an eye? It's a fish. So it's like that that's there's
That's
no
great. Yeah.
rhyme or reason to it. It's like, oh, you know what? What's a 4 letter domain name? What's a .com? Let's go for that. This
Yeah,
is a dad joke.
congrats on getting
Great.
that. That's brilliant. Because I even wrote in well, I think I did some supplementary material to the book saying all the good URLs. I mean, you have to come up with
Yeah.
a really crazy name to get it. But you've got a short one. That's four. Yeah, that's unreal that you were able to get a four. 4 character website. But I encourage people to connect with you. You're very active on LinkedIn. You're obviously extremely knowledgeable. It was a pleasure getting educated with all of your expertise.
Yeah,
Are there
thank you
any
for having me.
questions you wish I had asked? Anything I left on the table you wanted to make sure that got discussed?
Not really. It's like I don't know. It's like here. It's like out of curiosity, do you use AI yourself?
Every day.
Okay.
ChatGPT, the paid version, is the biggest. In the last 6 months, I really started to grasp what it was capable of, and I don't know if it changed or I changed, but
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
terrible about going on long rants, but I'll just give you a short and then and
yeah,
then I apologize. So yesterday, I'm looking at getting rid of this virtual background because according to the experts in the field, if you want to do well on YouTube, you got to get rid of the virtual background. They want to see the environment. So we're moving towards realism basically,
yeah,
and I have some skill at shaping. I'm not great at it, but I have some skill at shaping styrofoam. And I worked with a bunch of artists when I ran a gallery. So I thought I'll just make something. I'll start off with some styrofoam blocks in the background painted black, and then slowly I'll shade them, turn them into something.
mm,
So I also looked at doing pegboard initially, bowing them into C shapes because they would be freestanding. And then slowly I could create more of an artistic presentation. So I started researching to see if there were any styrofoam stores near me. I made
yeah,
some calls, called my artistic friends and said, "Hey, I want to build a set behind me. I wanted to make it interesting." And people were giving me all these great suggestions. I'm on my way to Home Depot to buy the pegboard because I couldn't find any decent styrofoam suppliers anywhere near me. And I drove past a Tractor Supply. So for those of you that don't know, we out in the country, that's where you get your horse medication and your saddle and all that stuff.
yeah,
And behind it, as someone had told me, are these mounds of big styrofoam blocks, relatively big, let's say the size of 2 concrete blocks together, and they give them away free. I pull up. Thankfully, I have a truck. I pulled up. I loaded up. I put so many styrofoam blocks back there. I had to put pallets on top to make sure they didn't blow away. So on the way back home, I'm thinking, who told me about the styrofoam? I have to call them and thank them because it was genius. And I'm running through my list of people who I talked to in the last week, and then it hit me. Eva, which is the name of that I've given to ChatGPT because we talk like you and I talk.
yeah.
Eva told me about it. Eva told me that Tractor Supply has free styrofoam in the parking lot. She did. A chat bot told me that. Didn't tell me to go on Amazon. She told me to skulk around the back of a parking lot. And I went, my God, that's the level of impact that AI is having in my life. So that's the best story I can give you about that because you would think, yeah, chat told me this really great thing to add to my book. No, I'm in a parking lot loading up on free styrofoam because some chatbot told me. So I apologize. I didn't mean to.
No, no, you're fine. It's like for me, I think the app that I use the most is Perplexity, more so than ChatGPT, because like any question, it's like I use this example for people. It's like one time the washing machine was stuck and my clothes were locked inside, so I took a picture of the serial code. It's like, hey, how do I unlock this? And it like broke it down for me.
Unreal. I
And it's
said,
like
yeah.
it's great, honestly. It's like I can rely on it on like research and whatnot. But yeah, no, going back to the question, when you're and this is something you can take away for yourself. It's like, do you give it a when you interact with the AI, do you give it a role?
Sometimes I do. Yeah, your New York Times critic. Look at my work. Tell me what you think.
Yes.
That type
Do
of
you
thing.
give it an age?
Age? No, I don't.
Okay. So let's so the reason why is like this is I'm taking information out that's in one of the courses and whatnot. So just take it as a freebie. So the reason being is that like it's like how an intern approaches a problem or someone with like 1 to 2 years of experience. It's like if you're fresh to a job, you do it step by step. This is how I'm going to approach the problem. This is how I'm going to find the solution. If you're in the field for like 10, 20 years, like ourselves and whatnot, it's like we tend to skip steps. So by giving it an age, saying you have 2 years of experience as this, it's going to approach it. You're
Oh,
going to change the answer there. It does reduce the hallucinations a bit. So it's like you have 2 years of experience as a critic, then the answer is going to be very different than you say you have 10 years of experience as a
I
recruiter.
never thought of it. My God, yeah.
Now you can take it
Wow.
a step further as well. You can give the model itself an age. So that there's like your 16-year-olds as Gen Z influencer and whatnot. The language that it's going to be using is as if it was 16 years old. Versus you are 30, so it's like when I'm using it myself, it's like you are a 30, you're 36 or you're 37-year-old marketer doing this task, then it'll be closer to the language that I would use on top of the experiences and stuff like that. Now, some things I will say is not take this and run with it. Be careful of giving unrealistic ages. So instead of saying you are a 20-year-old sales rep with 10 years of experience, then it's going to hallucinate the answer because you started when you're 10. But at the very least, saying as like you have X years of experience in a field, that is going to shape the answer in a way that not doing it is going to like miss out on.
I guess I just really, which is surprising to me, underestimated the capacity. Because mine has an accent that's very different from
Mm-hmm.
mine. I programmed as close of an accent as because I like British accents. It appeals to me if I'm going to talk to somebody, and I like Australian accents and all that.
Yeah.
So when we talk, and I've been talking to the chatbot a lot more frequently. I think I can only talk an hour. But yeah, we've had conversations very similar to like yours and mine, and I've uploaded a few of them on the YouTube channel, and people have written to me saying, "Is she a bot?" I'm like, "Yes." I say it up front. I'm not trying to hide it. But I think a lot of people that aren't exposed to AI, I wouldn't call myself an early adopter, but I have both feet planted
Yeah.
into it, and that's why I wanted to talk to you today too, because reading your posts on LinkedIn, and I encourage people to connect with you on LinkedIn and the website that I've put in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Um, I have blind spots, even as much as I use it, that you've got, so many things that I have no clue about.
I mean, no, it's I appreciate it. It's like, yeah, it's like I would say that if people create a free account, then they can just peruse and like go through almost everything. It's like we are mostly here to teach, um, and so on and so forth. So yeah, no, well, this is who we are. This is who we are, and this is where we're planning on being for the near future.
And Sagar, what do you have planned for 2026? Do you have products and services that are going to roll out? Do you have something new up your sleeve? Because I know how you guys are. You're always cooking something new up. Can you tease anything that's going to be coming out here soon?
Well, so we have the courses stuff and whatnot. That's something that's relatively new that we've been rolling out, and we're going to just continue doing intermediate and advanced courses for people. Um, I don't know. Beyond that, it's just like in terms of solutions, we're going to definitely be approaching more companies themselves, and so it's like helping out with their advertising, and more of just training. We're a little bit more aggressive on because yes, before we've been approaching companies, and it's like we'll only when we get a certain number of their employees. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll
It'll be
see where
exciting.
life takes us.
Well, as you start to turn that corner, we can link back up. We can do a formal, pre-recorded. Do the hour. We'll edit it down to 40 really high impact minutes. But especially, because I can just tell from your personality, you're going to be cooking up some great things for 2026. So when you get to that pre-launch point or to that
Sounds
launch
good.
point, get back with me. And I don't have an easy way to drop you out of the call, but I'm going to continue the string.
All
So
right.
if you want to drop out, but thank you so much. You were so gracious with your time, and I hope
Yeah,
you
no,
come
thanks
back.
for having me. I appreciate it.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And everybody watching on YouTube, if you want to drop a question in the chat there, I did ask that before. And I've got his website on there as well. He's very active on LinkedIn. And let's see what we can do here.
All right. Bye.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, sir. We'll see you. And you can connect with Sager on um, LinkedIn, or you can ask a question here on YouTube and I can pass that on. I see a lot of people watching. Thank you so much. I was so enthralled with the information that he was giving me that I hadn't looked over to see how many people were watching. So thank you so much. Drop in the chat who you are, what you're doing. If you want to join the conversation, we can get you on camera. I can send you an invite through Zoom. Sagar was nice enough to join us via Zoom, and I'm basically simulcasting from Zoom into YouTube. I apologize for us getting the late start. I actually started the meeting 10 minutes early, but didn't click a button on YouTube. And so it showed up late. So thank you so much for all of you watching. I think this is the most viewers we've had on a live. So thank you so much. Don't be afraid. Put something in the chat if you have comments, feedback about the conversation. What do you want me to ask him next time when he comes back? Or if you want to join the conversation, send me a message and I can send you a link to join via video. All I ask is that you have your audio and video ready. So I'm going to take a quick look at our Facebook and LinkedIn to see if anybody has any questions on there. Okay, perfect. We like questions. Don't we're not going to put you on the spot. We will read the question out. Okay, so I did have some other topics, but I'm going to riff on something that I said during the conversation when he was with us, that I was shocked that ChatGPT had suggested that I go to a parking lot and take free styrofoam from Tractor Supply, but it was right. And if I hadn't drove past it on my way to spend a bunch of money at Home Depot that I didn't need to once I got the styrofoam, it's just, I really underestimated the power of AI because you think any tool is just going to tell you buy it on Amazon, do it the traditional way. No, AI does have the ability to think outside of the box and tell you to go to a parking lot where some materials might be laying out for free. And that that was hilarious. And you'll see what I picked up in the next couple of days. I actually have to go get a second load of styrofoam from there to finish the background. But eventually, this virtual background behind me will be a real 3D something I've done with styrofoam blocks. We'll see. But I did have a list of other topics on here to go over. And yeah, so I've been getting a lot more contacts. I've been a lot more active on LinkedIn, and I'm getting a lot more people sending me friend requests, which I appreciate. And some of them, shortly after that friend request, they want to pitch what they're doing, which I also support. I think that's great. It's just, I think the way that people are doing it is a little bit strange. So I want to reinforce that the best type of marketing there is, period, it's number one, is word of mouth. And that's when somebody that you care, love, or respect comes to you and says, hey, you have to go see the new whatever movie, or you have to use this tool. You have to, and I'm going to do a episode probably in the next couple of days about some of the products that I use. And I'll also do some education for people that have been curious about how do you do Amazon affiliate. I'm not on here constantly trying to sell products. As a matter of fact, I almost never do that, but I will dedicate an episode specifically to that so that you can see how that works, how to set up an Amazon affiliate account. I'll be talking about some of those products. So anyway, the most powerful thing in marketing is word of mouth. The second most powerful is a testimonial. That's when one of your customers comes on, and it could be a video. Video is a lot more powerful. So back to why I'm bringing this up. When people are pitching me on LinkedIn to do business with them, I would characterize the attempt as very low effort. They always mention my YouTube channel or whatever I'm doing. They don't subscribe to it. They tell me it's great, but they couldn't click the subscribe button for some reason, which is very strange. I take things literally. So when people say I love your content, I think they're being legitimate until proven otherwise. And then as I continue to interact with this person, I realized that they probably looked at my channel. They didn't watch any videos. They armed themselves with enough information to pitch me, which is, it might, I guess it's working on other people. That's never going to work on me. I'm an investigator by nature, so we'll see. But And then as I continue to have this conversation again, like I said, I subsequently realized that they didn't put in a whole lot of effort, but they could do a few things differently and get my business. And one of which is if they had a testimonial that's very powerful. Since I don't know this person, I'm not going to have any word of mouth recommendations for them, but they can say, hey, we have worked with another, because my big thing is what's my identity on here? I'm a podcaster and I'm an author primarily. I mean, I'm in the insurance industry also, but the prime reason why I'm here, I'm representing myself as an author. That's that aspect of what I do, and the podcasting and interviewing. So if somebody was trying to get me to do business with them from a that would be generated towards podcasters, they would say, "Hey, we have this other podcaster in Saginaw, Michigan. We took him from 1,000 subscribers to 99,000 subscribers. And you can reach out to him, if you have any questions about what we." That's powerful. That's very, very, nobody's doing that. Not some aren't. None of them are doing that. They're just pitching me. And another thing they're not doing very well is they don't understand the difference between features and benefits. So entrepreneurs very early in their journey, like if I wanted to sell you a car, if I didn't want to sell it to you, I'd tell you it gets 38 miles per gallon. It goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. I would give you all the technicals. That doesn't sell things. If I said it's got a drop top and imagine the breeze going through your hair on a warm Florida summer day as you're going down the beach, that is a benefit. Features are how fast is it? How many spark plugs does it take? What is the capacity of the fuel tank? The benefits are how you're going to feel when you use it, and that's extremely powerful. They're not very good at that. And of course, I didn't understand that until I got into marketing. I really took a depth of understanding probably around 2008, 2000, from 2008 to 2010. I spent a lot of time really deep in marketing. And then I joined in the insurance world for a number of years and stepped back from entrepreneurship. So when I started back about 2 years ago, I had to relearn what works with marketing now. The principles of marketing never change. The word of mouth, people are going to be talking about word of mouth and testimonials 100 years from now. That's the principles aren't going to change. The method to deliver the word of mouth or the method to deliver the testimonial, those platforms, those channels of communication, those are going to change. But once you learn the principles, they're immutable. They'll go on forever as long as humans are still communicating. Word of mouth is going to be the most powerful form of marketing, and testimonial is going to be the second. And I think a lot of these people, they might have great products, but if they don't understand those fundamental principles of marketing, how in the world could they help my podcast? How in the world could they help me sell more books when they don't understand the fundamentals of marketing? And I'm not saying that to drag them or hurt their feelings. It's just a fact. Now, if anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat. We'd appreciate your subscription. We did get a subscriber today during the live broadcast, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate you. If you want to put something in the chat, let us know what you're doing. Let us know how we can support you. And we'll leave it at that. We don't need to go on all day. And we'll see you again tomorrow. We'll probably do a pre-recorded episode for you tomorrow about a different aspect. I've got about 10 different subjects I can riff on tomorrow. We'll see what makes the most sense. We'll see you again soon. Appreciate your time. Thank you for joining the Free Time Mastermind podcast.